So let's start with your board exams. So what is the importance of class 10th and 12th board exam in practicality today? What is your opinion about that?
This is very relevant in the term when once again the country is debating about the reintroduction of board exam. Only this year it got reintroduced. I personally as a teacher now believe that it's a regressive step. Even as a student, when I remember I faced the board exam, so it's quite difficult. It's not just board exam. Whenever you face the exam, it's basically the stress and the exam are, together. They go hand in hand. So I feel somewhere that it's very restrictive. It doesn't allow you to be creative. And the even bigger problem with the board exam is that the state controls everything, that what you should value. You would only value the things which comes in the exam.
Achha.
And the rest of the things remains ignored. But the school is for the holistic development. When you just curtail it, that only focus on what's coming in the board exam, the entire purpose of this school education get defeated.
That is one side of it, but I would like to understand 10th 12th का एग्ज़ाम देने के बाद उसकी रियलिटी में जब हम जॉब्स पे जाते हैं या जब हम हायर एजुकेशन जाते हैं उसकी कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस है, या आपकी टोटल अपब्रिंगिंग में 10th और 12th कितना रोल प्ले करता है? आपके साथ क्या रहा उसका एक्सपीरियंस?
मेरा जो अपना एक्सपीरियंस था तो हम लोग तो बहुत डरे हुए रहते थे एग्ज़ाम से, और कुछ वो पूंजी मिलता था, उसमें सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस होता था, उसको रटते थे, इतना रटते थे कि रात में भी वो सोए हुए में भी आवाज़ आती थी। एक डर होता था कि काफ़ी बच्चे फेल हो जाते हैं। जिस टाइम 1999 में मैंने बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम दिया था तो उस बार भी 120 में से सिर्फ 20 लोग ही पास हो पाए। तो एक इम्पैक्ट तो है ही, क्योंकि ये एक तरह से फिल्ट्रेशन है कि आप स्कूल में से 10th के बाद इतने बच्चे को ही हायर एजुकेशन में जाने देते हैं, 12th में, फिर 12th में बोर्ड लेकर के आप सिर्फ इतने बच्चे को ही आगे हायर एजुकेशन में जाने देते हैं। तो आगे जैसे जैसे बढ़ते हैं तो ये नैरो डाउन होता जाता है।
सो देन व्हाट डू यू सजेस्ट, मतलब क्या होना चाहिए 10th और 12th के बोर्ड एग्जाम्स के अलावा? कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव है उसके अलावा? क्या करना चाहिए आपके ओपिनियन के हिसाब से?
आई हैव बीन थिंकिंग अबाउट दिस, और मुझे लगता है कि जब आप 10th या 12th में बोर्ड एग्जाम्स रख रहे हैं तो उस बोर्ड एग्जाम के सर्टिफिकेट से ये तो नहीं हो जाता कि कोई सर्टिफिकेट लेके गया और उसको जॉब मिल गई।
बिल्कुल।
बोर्ड का सर्टिफिकेट लेके गया और उसको एडमिशन मिल गया हायर एजुकेशन में, एक्सेप्ट दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी जो नंबर के आधार पर एडमिशन देता है। हायर एजुकेशन ने अपना एंट्रेंस रखा हुआ है, जॉब मार्केट ने अपना फिल्ट्रेशन का मैकेनिज्म,
इंटरव्यू है, टेक्निकल राउंड्स हैं, बहुत कुछ है।
उन लोगों ने अपने गेट कीपर्स रखे हुए हैं कि आपको उस डोमेन में एंटर करने देंगे या नहीं।
अच्छा।
तो फिर भी 10th 12th के बोर्ड में ज़बरदस्ती धकेलना मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ठीक है। आई फील पर्सनली कि हर बच्चे को स्कूल एक्सपीरियंस सर्टिफिकेट मिले 10th क्लास तक का, 12th क्लास का, और स्कूल शुड बी ए प्लेस टू गिव एक्सपीरियंस। हिस्ट्री में कितना नंबर आया उससे बेहतर है कि उनको लिखा जाए कि इस पर्टिकुलर चाइल्ड को इतने आवर्स ऑफ इस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक का हमने एक्सपोजर स्कूल में दिया है, हमने इसको यहाँ पे विजिट करवाया है। जो ट्रांसक्रिप्शन जो टाइप का रहता है, इस तरह की चीज़ें, रादर देन वो नंबर बहुत सारी चीज़ों को नहीं कम्युनिकेट करता।
उनके बिहेवियर्स को स्टडी करा जाए, उनके होलिस्टिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग को इम्पोर्टेंस दी जाए, जिससे कि वो इंडस्ट्री फिट बन सके। दैट इज़ व्हाट योर सजेशन इज।
यस, तो सीसी उस दिशा में एक बड़ी पहल थी, ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव। अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट गॉट स्क्रैप्ड दिस ईयर।
ओके, सो हाउ वाज योर कॉलेज लाइफ? आप कौन से कॉलेज में गए थे? व्हाट डिड यू टेक अप? गिव अस एन इनसाइट अबाउट दैट।
हमारे यहाँ मेरे गांव से ही कोई करीब 7 किलोमीटर दूर एक कॉलेज था जिसको हम लोग महरा कॉलेज कहा जाता है। तो जो जैसे मैंने इंट्रोडक्शन के टाइम पे बताया था वही हालात थे। बिल्डिंग्स थे वहाँ पे, ऑफिस में कुछ लोग थे, प्रिंसिपल ना, और पढ़ाई नहीं होती थी। ये हालात आज भी है।
अच्छा।
आई गॉट एडमिटेड इनटू द कॉलेज इन 2001, दिस इज 2018, इन 17 years नथिंग चेंज्ड। सो द स्टोरी कंटिन्यूज देयर। तो कॉलेज जाता था, बट देयर वाज वन फॉर्चुनेट थिंग फॉर मी कि मुझे वहाँ के प्रिंसिपल मिल गया। आई डोंट नो ये कैसे हो रहा था।
अच्छा।
मुझे मिडिल स्कूल में भी एक प्रिंसिपल मिले थे, कॉलेज में भी एक प्रिंसिपल मिल गए जो इंडिविजुअली बहुत इंटरेस्ट लेते थे पढ़ाई लिखाई में। और उसके बाद से वो एक मेंटोर रहे, बीसी झा उनका नाम है, वो प्रिंसिपल थे वहाँ पे, और लगातार मेंटोर करते रहे मुझे। ही वॉज वेरी लर्नेड पर्सन, ही इज़ स्टिल गाइडिंग मी। तो उन्होंने काफ़ी सारा कि ये पढ़ो, इग्नू का मटेरियल लाओ, ये पढ़ो, इंडिविजुअली अपने चैम्बर में बिठा करके मुझे पढ़ाते थे। बहुत उनको पढ़ाने में एक पैशन था। बाद में जब मैं दिल्ली आया, कुछ रीजन से वो भी दिल्ली आ गए और यहाँ भी वो हमें गाइड करते रहे। तो वो एक कॉलेज का मेरा टेक अवे था कि वहाँ मुझे एक मेंटोर मिला। बाकी रेगुलर क्लासेस नहीं।
सो यू नो टीचर्स की एक ओपिनियन है, टीचर्स को देख के एक ओपिनियन बनाई जाती है कि बहुत स्टूडियस रहे हैं, बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट हैं। तो आपके कॉलेज डेज कैसे थे? मतलब मस्ती मजाक, कुछ ऐसे दिन आपको याद हैं जो बहुत आपने एंजॉय करे हों या सिर्फ पढ़ाई में थे?
ये सवाल तो अच्छा है डेफिनेटली, क्योंकि हम आज जो हैं वो एक बहुत सारी चीज़ों का सम टोटल है।
बिल्कुल।
तो आई कांट से कि मैं बहुत मेरिटोरियस रहा, हमेशा हर एग्ज़ाम पास करता रहा। इट वॉज नॉट लाइक दिस। हाँ, मेरा दिलचस्पी रहा बहुत सारी चीज़ों को लेकर के, एक्सपोज बहुत सारी चीज़ों से मैं अपने आप को एक्सपोज कर पाऊँ एंड ऑल काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। मस्ती मजाक, क्योंकि कैंपस लाइफ तो था नहीं।
अच्छा।
रेगुलर स्टूडेंट कॉलेज में जाता नहीं था। मैं ऑन पेपर रेगुलर स्टूडेंट था, लेकिन
अच्छा।
वहाँ टीचर नहीं थे, तो फिर वहाँ भी कॉलेज नहीं जाना होता था जैसा कि स्कूल में हुआ था।
तो मतलब कॉलेज नहीं था आप, बट ऑन पेपर स्टूडेंट थे और आप एग्ज़ाम देते थे, बट कोई कॉलेज लाइफ नहीं थी।
कॉलेज लाइफ नहीं थी। एंड अभी भी वो हो रहा है, मतलब
तो बिहार में आज भी ऐसा है?
हाँ बिल्कुल। मैं जिस कॉलेज से आया हूँ वहाँ पे आज भी ऐसा है। तो 3 साल के बदले में 5 साल में हमने ग्रेजुएशन पूरा किया। ये इसलिए नहीं कि मैं फेल हो रहा था, वो एग्ज़ाम टाइम पे नहीं लिया जाता था। जो एग्ज़ाम 1 साल में होना चाहिए था वो 2 साल में होता था।
एंड मुझे पता नहीं, मे बी शायद इट इज़ न्यू टू मी, बट बहुत लोगों को ये चीज़ पता भी नहीं होगी शायद कि ऐसा भी हालात हैं टियर 2 टियर 3 जगह पे।
इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि अभी भी हैं। एक तो मैं अपने एरिया के बारे में पता है, मैं अभी जाता हूँ तो मिलता हूँ लोगों से। दूसरा, रिसेंटली रवीश कुमार ने टीवी पे,
हाँ, उन्होंने एक पूरी यूनिवर्सिटी सीरीज़ चलाई है जिसमें उन्होंने दिखाया था
कि एज इट इज़ वही सिचुएशन है। और ये मामला सिर्फ बिहार में नहीं है, ये भारत के बहुत सारे राज्यों में।
एग्जैक्टली। सो आई जस्ट वांटेड टू टेल यू ऑन दिस पॉइंट, अगर आप लोगों को इसके बारे में और थोड़ा पता करना है तो रवीश कुमार की यूनिवर्सिटी सीरीज़ चली थी जिसमें उन्होंने 18 से 20, आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट द नंबर, बट बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस और यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के बारे में बताया था। तो आप उसको ज़रूर देखिए, आपको उसमें पता लगेगा कि आप जहाँ दिल्ली में, जहाँ एनसीआर में रहते हैं, उसके कंपैरेटिव टियर 2 टियर 3 रूरल एरियाज़ में एजुकेशन सिस्टम का कितना बुरा हाल है। बहुत से स्कूल्स और कॉलेजेस ऐसे मिलेंगे आपको जहाँ पे सिर्फ एक ही टीचर है, लेबोरेटरीज हैं ही नहीं, उसके नाम पे बस उनको सर्टिफिकेट और प्रैक्टिकल एग्जाम्स करने को बोल दिया जाता है, जबकि उन्हें पता भी नहीं होता है केमिकल्स का रंग क्या है। तो जैसा इन्होंने बताया, ये बहुत ज़्यादा अभी भी प्रेवलेंट है हमारी सोसाइटी में, शायद हमें उस चीज़ के बारे में कुछ करना चाहिए।
प्रेवलेंट नहीं, डिटोरिएट हो रहा है।
डिटोरिएट ही हो रहा है एक तरीके से। बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं। तो आप जब अपने कॉलेज लाइफ में थे, वर एनी डेज जब आप बहुत इंडिसाइसिव थे कि यार क्या होगा मेरा आगे चल के, व्हाट वुड बी माय जॉब लाइफ, मेरा क्या होगा आफ्टर कॉलेज, एज यू टोल्ड कि वहाँ पे तो इतना ज़्यादा सिचुएशन ख़राब था, तो वर देयर एनी डेज जहाँ बहुत डाउन फील करा, कैसे कोप अप करा उन चीज़ों को?
आई थिंक व्हेन आई वाज इन द वेरी फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ माय ग्रेजुएशन, सो I caught this idea that I will be preparing for the civil service exams. There was not much confusion. So I was preparing for that. But when I failed a couple of times, then it was a confusion. But the period of confusion was not much longer. In 2007, I came into the B.Ed course. And then
so this was your own opinion to do IAS civil services examination, or again it was given by someone else?
It was not my own opinion. So one of my very close friend guided me about this.
Achha.
He's a senior and a mentor. So I feel that fine, I failed in that exam, but that exam pushed me to study a lot. So now I feel the benefit of that study. I used to count the number of hours I studied during those days. So it used to be 14 hours, 16 hours, 15 hours for months and months, right? And the thorough study, one textbook 10 times. Kind of. So I studied the wide range of subjects, science, mathematics, and obviously the social sciences.
So in terms of college education system, how would you rate your college education? Did it bring the best out of you? उसने help करी आपको अपने आप सब कुछ करने के लिए, या फिर it played a very spoil sport and you later took up the things?
I won't say that the college as a system helped me bring the best out of me. Well, later I'll come to I'll tell you about the role played by Jamia Millia Islamia, Tata Institute of Social
Exactly.
Sciences, where I went. So, but the graduation period, that Bahira College college didn't bring anything from it. Yes, as I mentioned, that one principal, he played a very important role in shaping the path in my life.
And how was your experience with Jamia and TIS?
This was wonderful. So again in Jamia, I won't again say that that the system as a whole influenced a lot, but yes, it was the first campus experience.
But the environment was good. It was a conducive environment जहाँ आप चीज़ों को explore कर सकते थे.
Right. But again, there I met a wonderful teacher, Professor Farah Faruqi, and since then I met her in 2007 when I got admission there. Since then we are working together. She's a mentor, a guide. So today I mean I believe that whatever I know is just because of her at this point of time. So she has been guiding, and I think I should mention that as of now I'm also a PhD student. She's my supervisor now.
Okay.
In between I went to TISS, and that was the life-changing experience.
So mentorship always plays a big role, and these people have been your mentors.
Right. So I won't say that I got opportunity to meet with wonderful teachers, but yes, I got one opportunity to meet with wonderful mentors. So they were not just limited to the classroom, that they taught a class and they forgot. They are the mentors. They are still guiding me. They are in the contact.
Okay. So you did B.Ed, right?
Yeah.
How was your experience with B.Ed? I get to hear a lot of things कि B.Ed में भी आजकल वही बहुत पुराना चीज़ पढ़ाई जा रही है, प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है. कुछ लोग कहते हैं नहीं ठीक है वहाँ पे. How has been your experience with B.Ed and how does it help you in teaching?
Frankly speaking, I won't remember exactly what I studied in B.Ed. But how I see the importance of these courses or the university courses, that these universities are the place where the people from across the country comes. There are teachers, and the learning happens when you interact with these students and the teachers. So I generally motivate my students to go to the college for this reason precisely, because you come into the contact with a large variety of people.
But just to cut you short on that, don't you think then it is unfair to judge you on the basis of the marks scored over there?
Obviously.
Just like it happens in school and you are saying you should get a school certificate or not based on the marks. तो but B.Ed के basis पे ही आपके आगे job और वो सारी चीज़ें लगती हैं.
But there is now I have recently understood this. There's a interesting logic behind it, that why B.Ed is necessary.
अच्छा.
We can criticize the the effectiveness of this program, which need to be strengthened. But on the other hand, there is another program which is called BLEd.
BLEd, I know, elementary education.
Very powerful program. So I have met many students who have been through that 4 years course, and I have seen that really their idea about the education changed through these 4 years of journey through the BLEd. At the time when I did BEd, it was just 1 year, and in 1 year you generally study, go to the college for around 8 to 9 months. A lot of things to cover, so not much effective. But nowadays BEd is for 2 years.
2 years.
So some change might have occurred, but I feel that the training is required, right? The reason is that you talk about any other profession, we don't allow people to come in that profession without having a particular training, right? So training is required. Teaching is not just about interacting with the student or telling about the things. It's a lot more. So some sort of understanding about the psychology, philosophy, sociology. It adds, so many dimensions of your understanding of a child. It adds. So only the delivery of the content in the colleges may be ineffective. That need to be strengthened. But I can't say that these courses are not required.
So the technicalities and the concepts that are being taught in B.Ed, are they effective enough to be used in classes? Are they practical enough?
See, again, what's going on right now in the B.Ed courses, I'm not very much aware.
At your time, what has been your experience?
So I mean, like the practical teaching sessions, that was so effective. I remember one thing, that during that practical teaching, I stand and started teaching history. I had the control of the content. I was feeling that I'm doing great, and the teacher who was observing me in the end said that it was the kind of worst teaching I did. And this was the first time I was surprised. I know so many things. I have delivered all the contents. I remember so many things, and then you are saying it's the worst. So my focus was just about what I know I'm sharing. My focus was not about ensuring what children are learning. Right. So I feel it's important.
Okay.
Otherwise, when you just go, you haven't studied about the various psychological, theories, that how the Piaget look at the things, how the Vygotsky understand about the children's learning, or what's the philosophical understanding of the knowledge. It requires some sort of study.
So how did you get into Delhi government education? When did you join the Delhi government schools?
So basically, for a couple of years in the beginning, I worked with some private schools, and later in 2011, I got the opportunity to work with the Delhi government school. So there was an exam conducted by DSSB.
Okay.
I passed that exam. And got
That
this
is how.
opportunity.
So how was your first experience as a teacher? That first day at job in a class of 40-45 students, and you're teaching practically now. So वो दिन कैसा था? How did you manage that?
I see that first experience again as a BA student. When we
Okay.
were brought to this school.
अच्छा. As an intern or something.
Intern,
Okay.
Yeah, and that was a government school only where we were given the training. So that, I would say, that was the first experience. So first experience, we even I was not confident, right? I remember I was given 9th class students to teach. More than 60 students were sitting.
More than 60.
Yeah. So it was quite difficult, and again the focus was to tell them as much as I can. But it took time to evolve as a teacher, and I strongly believe that there's never a day when you say that now you are the best teacher.
It's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process. So the kind of teacher I was last year, the kind of teacher I am today, it's a difference. It's still a journey.
So when you started your teaching career, would you be able to share आपकी पहली salary कितनी थी, so that the teachers that are coming today or the students who are actually aspiring to become a teacher can get an idea कि क्या starting में रहता है? How is the process start?
Right. So as a teacher, the first job was in a private school. I would not like to name.
Sure.
But I was fortunate enough that in the very first appointment, I was paid as per the grade pay.
Okay.
So that's a very standard system of grade pay, the way the government employees are paid. So similarly, I was paid even in the private school. So there were around 50 teachers or more than that working in that school, and there were hardly 5 to 6 teachers who were paid as per the grade pay. So I would say that I was lucky enough. So at that time, it was 2008. So the first salary was around 12,000 rupees. And within a couple of months, the 6th pay commission was implemented, and my salary, just somewhere around 20,000 rupees.
Okay. But not. I've also heard stories जहाँ पे बहुत सारे teachers बताते हैं कि they didn't get the grade, but they were still employed in the school.
That's absolutely true.
So वो क्या system है? ऐसा होता है? Is it illegal, or how does that happen?
It's happening because the private schools have a lot of autonomy to decide about different states. Again, the state norms get implemented. So like the schools which are in Gurgaon region, so that comes or governed by the rule of the education made by the Haryana.
Okay.
The schools in Delhi, there will be different rules. The schools in Rajasthan, there will be different rules. It's a big crisis in the private schools.
How does it happen in Delhi? Do you have any idea? Private schools यहाँ पे भी do they do that?
I have heard. I don't have any first-hand experience about it, but I have heard that there's a lot of exploitation of the teachers. In fact, in my own experience, yes, the place where I was, the teachers teaching for 5 years, they were paid 5,000 rupees. So it was all about the negotiation between the teacher and the school management, that at what minimum salary they can force the teacher to work.
Now, this brings me to a very important question. Why are teachers not paid as much respect as a corporate professional or any person who is doing a job in bank or any other profession that it may be? Why are teachers not celebrated? Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, so there's a tradition of seeing this, in the rank of the, in the hierarchy of the different profession. I can say that the teaching is seen as on the bottom of that profession.
But why is that so?
The couple of reasons I see that when you look at the other profession, something comes very clearly, the product.
Okay.
Doctors treated this many of patients and they are well now. Engineers constructed these buildings and these roads and all such things. But in terms of teachers' output, that product is not quite visible, right?
Okay.
Because it's a journey where they are influencing the students. So still, if you are teaching in the college, so you taught for 3 years and now that students got employed in a particular sector. But if you are a school teacher, if you are a primary teacher, how could you show that what product you have made? So the materialistic society thinks in terms of product.
Okay.
So that I feel is one of the reasons that why people don't see a direct contribution, that because the teachers cannot see that this is the product they have made.
So how can we turn around things like these? Is there a solution to it? Can we make an environment where teachers are more respected?
Well, I can't say that the teachers should start making products, right? It's not possible. It's only the people have to change their thinking, their perceptions. I get inspired by one of the quote I have heard from that IT teacher who used to teach in Patna. I'm forgetting the name. He used to say that in the society, everybody wants their children to be taught by the best teachers. Nobody wants their children to be the teacher. So it's a huge gap.
But thinking from at a teacher's level, shouldn't teachers be more documenting their work or making it digitized or putting it out actually that look, I am this kind of a person, I teach like this, I know this much and I have done this much.
Right.
Shouldn't that is how you convert yourself into a product. I'm not asking you to convert it as a education product, but at least you should be able to sell yourself. Then only you can demand that respect in terms of remuneration.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So this is one of the reason why the teachers community are not very much celebrated, because they don't document their work. So even today, when you see the people who are making the curriculum, who are the policy makers, who are designing the syllabus, the terms and conditions for the teachers, you don't see that the teachers are doing that. It's somebody else.
Okay.
So if the policies are made about the school education, that policy is based on certain research work, and that research works are not done by the teachers. So this is essentially required. In fact, the teachers will have to document their work. They have to write the research paper.
But then I'll counter this with my own thought process. There are some good schools who pay very well, and when we talk to those teachers, they say we are quite happy.
Right.
So you can't pinpoint down to some teachers कि इनकी हालत बुरी है और इनकी हालत अच्छी है. तो एज अ होल सिस्टम तो फिर नॉर्मल ही रह गया. तो उस केस में तो इसका कभी सोल्यूशन होगा?
See, again I feel that it's about the collective consciousness. So the teacher who says that I'm very happy because I'm paid very well is not concerned about the Shiksha method teaching in Bihar, the Shiksha method teaching in Uttar Pradesh. But I see myself as a part of that community. If I am doing something good, it contributes to the identity of this community. But if they are being paid 4,000 rupees, that is also adding some value to the collective identity as a teacher. So we have to see it in that sense, in a larger community. We can't see it in the isolated terms. And this is one of the reasons that why teacher communities are very weak, I'll say. I often compare it with the university teachers. They interact, they call the conferences, they interact with the university teachers from across the country, from across the globe. You have never heard about the teachers having, organizing conferences. Even they don't like to interact with the teachers from other schools, from the private schools, from school teachers from other states. So one of the reasons is that the teachers are working in isolation.
Yeah, so if they unite, maybe there could be a solution to it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this Delhi education revolution that has been talked a lot about. What actually is Delhi education revolution? Can you simplify for all of us?
Well, I'm very passionate about it. When we use the term revolution, so being a history student, the revolution means when the things change around, the upside down, I can say. So we use the term revolution for the Bolshevik revolution in Russia, the French revolution. One meaning of the revolution is that when it touches and changes the life of the common people.
Okay.
That's one meaning of the revolution, right? when they feel the change. So why Delhi Revolution is actually the education revolution, that it's actually influencing the life of the most downtrodden people of the society, because it's their children who are coming to these schools. So wonderful infrastructure is actually giving them the sense of pride, that they look how my school looks like. Otherwise, if you see in Indian society, the schools are in proportion of the class you belong. So if you belong to a rich class, your school would look, richer. If you belong to a poor class, your school look poor. So this Delhi education actually broke that kind of binary. That the school for the rich people and the poor school infrastructure for the poor people. This revolution, and when we say the revolution, it actually breaks many of the established norms.
So what is the main achievement, or you can say main motto of this entire revolution that the Delhi government has been talking about?
See, it's been 70 years of independence, and education, and particularly the school education, remained ignored throughout the country. So in this context, what the government is doing, so like allocating the highest budget, 25-26% of its budget on education, this in itself is a revolution.
And which is the highest in the country, I guess.
And that shows the kind of priority. They have put education on the topmost priority. This is why it's the revolution. And when we say revolution, so who is the beneficiary? It's the students and the teachers. They are the two core constituents of the school education.
So can you give a real life example of someone, a student or a teacher that has been impacted by this revolution? Do you know of someone?
Yeah, why not? I know myself and many of the teachers and the students. There are many documented work now where the students are talking about the great changes they have witnessed in the last 3 years in their schools, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of pedagogy. A lot of intervention has been made. If I say about the teachers, the relation of the revolution and the teachers, I will say that there's two groups. The one group is little frustrated about all such intervention, because all interventions are through the teachers.
Achha.
Right. But there are also a group who see opportunities in all these changes, who believe that this all is for them. I generally give them the example that if IIT is the great brand, the professors teaching there are the biggest beneficiaries.
Exactly, they are the brand ambassadors of that thing.
So if this revolution, so the place where I'm working now, that has become the model school, and the government has spent more than 30 crore rupees in developing that infrastructure. The moment I put my step there, I feel proud. Like, look, this is how my school looks like now.
Exactly.
I can say with pride, I can call my relatives, my friends that come see my school. So actually, I am the beneficiary of that kind of revolution. And in many sense, as I told you, that it's breaking so many established norms on the name of change in the education. Earlier, generally the officers and the people on the higher ranks, they used to go to the abroad, see the changes, come back. But this is the first time where the government is thinking about the teachers. More than 200 teachers have been sent to Singapore and also to other countries to study the education system, come back. They are the teachers. I have never seen a government system showing so much of faith in the teachers and principals.
So this brings me to another thing. Is it long lasting? Like, as much as the government is in power, or should I say Aam Aadmi Party is in power, is it going to sustain till then, or is it has been concreted to a level that it will last for a longer period of time?
See, again I see in the historical context. Then in historical context, when we see that revolutions are only long lasted when that power, the will which has brought it, they remains in power for a certain period of time. And particularly the revolution in the field of education, it's not overnight change. Right? It needs some time, at least 10 to 15 years of time it requires. So then only it will take a form where it can sustain.
So, education has been considered very sacred and pious thing in our country. And when it comes to, a particular government focusing a lot of importance or their efforts on that, it gets politicized. What is your opinion about it? Should education as a subject or as a topic be politicized enough to create a debate, or it should be left alone and teachers should not be politicized at all?
See, there's a fine differences about this politics and education. I come across these questions from many of my friends and all, that the education is a very sacred thing, it should not be politicized. But I also feel that being a part of a democratic country, the things which are not the part of the politics, that remains ignored. From that point of view, I strongly believe that yes, education must be politicized, because this is the region when the different political parties start talking about education, and when they start talking about the education, it ultimately draws the attention of the people towards education. So you look at different states, if the education is not the part of the political discourse, it has remained ignored. So I see this as a wonderful effort of this government, that they are trying to bring education as the part of the political discourse.
So it's coming into the mainstream for debates, basically.
And I personally feel that it must be, because we are the part of the democratic country, the things which remains ignored in the democratic setup, because it is not the part of the political discourse. Yes, at the same time I am also aware that the teachers should not be politicized.
Okay.
Right, but education should be politicized, the teachers should not. As a teacher, I cannot be the part of any political party, I cannot favor any political party. Yes, I can favor a policy, not a party.
Okay. So now can we expect more professional and self-motivated teachers to come and join this kind of a revolution, or are they coming, or they are still abstaining themselves?
What happens that on most of the occasions, when the change begins, so somebody comes ahead, then the next join, then the next join. So this is what's happening. Gradually, more and more people, more and more teachers are joining this Delhi revolution. And now I feel that there's a significant number of teachers who equally take part in taking that revolution ahead.
So you also went to the Fulbright Fellowship last year or this year? This year itself. So how has been your experience about it? How, if there is a teacher who wants to understand about it, how to proceed about it, can you give them an idea about how to proceed for that?
Definitely. So it's a very prestigious program. USIEF, United States India Education Foundation, along with American Embassy, offers some sort of Fulbright fellowship for different categories.
Okay.
The one in which I participated, that was for teachers, and that fellowship is named as Teaching Excellence and Achievement. So the Fulbright fellowship is for different categories, for teachers, for researchers, for college lecturers, right? So we got this in that category of the school teachers. So it's an open competition for the teachers from across the country, including private and governments. They can participate. And there's 3-stage selection process. The first stage is the application, the second stage is interview, and the third stage is the TOEFL test. And based on the performance in all these 3 stages, 6 people get the opportunity.
And coincidentally, this time all the 6 teachers were from Delhi government schools.
So this was something very interesting. It has never happened before. That all 6 teachers who got selected from this country, they all were from Delhi government schools.
So that could be a testimony to the the changing systems that are in Delhi government, maybe.
Definitely, the kind of opportunity now the Delhi government teachers are availing. They are coming out of the school boundaries. They are participating in different conferences. They are meeting with their own colleagues from different schools. This exposure has somewhere, I feel, have added in their personality development, in developing as a better teacher, and this somewhere contributed in achieving this kind of.
So you must have interacted with a lot of teachers abroad. What is the main difference that you found in the teachers of India and teachers of other country? Is there a stark difference, or we are superior to them, or what is the scenario?
If not superior, I feel we are not inferior also.
Okay.
As a teacher, I got the opportunity there to interact with the teachers from 40 different countries.
Okay.
So, I can't say, and I never felt that we were lagging behind in any terms, in terms of the knowledge of pedagogy or the content or even technology.
You know, the reason I'm bringing up this question is because a lot is being talked about Finland system of education, you know, Japan system of education, or maybe US in some parts, and it's not, Indian education system is not still worldwide debated. So in that context, were there any differences?
Well, the one clarification I would like to give, that the teachers from the Europe was not participating.
Acha, okay.
Yes. A major difference what I see the American education system and the Indian education system, that we have equally good number of qualified teachers, but the difference is in terms of the resources, right? They have huge resources at their disposal, and we lack resources. So that is one of the difference I could see.
So what has been your key takeaway from this fellowship that you are trying to implement into Indian context?
There were many technical things which I learned, that the classroom management, project-based teaching, the group teaching, also the teacher-student relationship. It was quite open. The discipline doesn't mean that the children will remain silent in the class. Discipline means that they are engaged meaningfully.
Okay, and in here we mean discipline means a pin drop silence.
Yeah, the pin drop silence, right. So these were some of the key learnings, the classroom managements, the passion for the teaching that I also encouraged. I mean, I feel is very encouraging.
Can you pinpoint to one specific thing that immediately we need to learn from these systems to India?
That I'll again say that the classroom management, which is about the group teaching, they have a lot of focus on group teaching. So they ask the students to sit in the group. Their classroom designs are also like tables and chairs
around it, not in terms of our linear pattern.
Yeah, so it is not expected that all students would look in front of the board or they should face the teachers. It is not
impressive.
Expected. Most of the works get done in the classroom, in the groups. That also somewhere, develops the team building, collaborative exercise.
Exactly. And on the other hand,
it's not big things to
exactly. On the other hand, in India, we are almost left to ourselves. Yeah. In every class, we are left to ourselves.
And for these things, I don't think that the major policy change is required.
These are, I guess, any teacher can do in their own capacity.
And what is the best thing about this kind of classroom structure is that it saves a lot of energy of teacher. A teacher need not to speak continuously in the classroom. Make the groups, assign the responsibility, and go and monitor what the different groups are doing.
And that builds leadership also.
That will be
yeah. So let's get back to your classroom teaching experience. So if I were to talk, which was your first class? Like which class did you taught at that time?
I mean, when I started. See, as a TGT, we got the class to teach right from class 6 to 10. So every year we are given 4 or 5 different classes. So a couple of classes of 6, 1 or 2 classes from 9, 1 or 2 classes from 10. So this is a mix every year we teach.
So did you used to prepare your lesson plans?
Well, it's a very interesting question, and I should accept that not exactly in terms of the kind of lesson plan we used to prepare during our B.Ed.
Exactly, that is what my question is, because in B.Ed it is taught very religiously that you need to plan lesson before every class. But when it comes to practicality in your classes in schools, teachers don't actually follow it in many cases, or they do follow, but not in every case. So how was your experience?
I agree with that, but I used to work something different, like lesson plans I didn't, but I had the plan to deliver the content. So I used to think that which methods need to be used. So I have worked about developing some of the assessment tools, that this content need to be developed through the classroom demonstration or the group play. So I have worked on my computer, developed some content. Even before going to US, I used to practice in that kind of group teaching, making the groups and putting the students in a sort of competition in the class, which the teenagers enjoy a lot.
So again, taking this point forward, are you able to reach out to each and every student in the class? Is it possible for a teacher to do that?
It needs a lot of effort. A teacher are assigned with around 300 students to teach, right? It's difficult, but still I feel I always remember one quote from Immanuel Kant. He was a great philosopher. He used to say that a good teacher is the one who empowers the weakest student.
Exactly.
So he used to say in his classroom that the intelligent students will take care of themselves. I am here to teach the weak student. I am really inspired.
Yeah.
One of the interview which some of my students gave to NDTV, they mentioned, I was not aware of, that I like this teacher because he used to give power to the weak student.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, but they noticed. You teachers, student notice that.
Yeah.
They judge you as much as you judge them.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was revealing for me also.
So let's talk about the content that is being taught to the students. Not much changes every year. It's not updated as much as it should be.
Right.
So as a teacher, do you enjoy teaching the same thing almost every year?
See, since I get the opportunity to participate at different levels in education, I'm also a learner along with a teacher. So sometimes I sit on the other side of the table also. So contents are not kind of binding, that what is there in the textbook that is sacrosanct, you only need to deliver that.
But then questions are based on that only. You need to adhere to that. At the end of the day, you can be philosophical about things in the class. At the end of the day, you have to teach your students to answer certain things which are in the present.
Question generally comes when even I try to speak to my fellow colleagues that we can bring the contents from elsewhere also. The textbook contents are just the guidelines. Right? But the examination system forces the teachers that you just follow this. But in social science, I see that there's a huge opportunity.
Okay.
We generally discuss the current phenomena. So whatever the developments across the world, that is the content for our classrooms.
Okay.
And you know that this has been my practice. This is my area of research also, to make students, enable students to be the independent learner. So if the students become the independent learner, then what comes in the exam, they take care of this.
Okay. So as you have been working with private schools as well in your early stages, so PTM is something that is looked upon in a very important perspective. How has been your experience with PTM? I have heard stories from teachers that they tell parents comes with huge unexpected demands and you should follow it up like this or that. How was your experience with PTMs?
Well, I think this is one of the major challenging area for the teachers, that they need to train kind of counseling. They need to counsel the parents also. So if I remember a couple of things, that you used to punish my student if he is not doing, give a lot of homework, he's not paying attention, and kind of such things, that they used to give a kind of a wrong kind of motivation to the teachers, that you punish, I have left upon you, you decide,
which is wrong.
Which is really wrong. So I feel that the parents generally set wrong kind of expectations from their students. They should be given time. They should engage in the discussion with their students, where they generally don't do that. In this context, I would also like to say that in the private schools, the parents are like the kind of, on the different pedestal. They have a kind of control over the teachers. But on the other hand, the government school, the teachers are on different pedestal. They have a kind of influence on the parents.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a huge difference in the PTM, which a teacher can experience in the private school and in the government school.
Huge contrast.
Huge contrast, yeah.
One thing I would like to discuss is, teaching. There's a perspective about it that if you're not able to do something in your own career, you can always switch back to teaching. Like there are many of my colleagues that who have done engineering, who have done different degrees, but they could not make it up to that. As a result, they ended up becoming a teacher.
Right.
Is that a good practice to uphold, or is it okay, everyone is welcome in becoming a teacher?
It's a sad state of affairs, I'll say. It's really not desirable. It should also be as competitive the area as the other areas are. The people should aspire to be. But the situation is, particularly in the private schools, that if you ask the students that what do you want to become, you won't see that a single student raising the hand that I want to be the teacher. Even if a couple of the students raise the hand, the rest of the students ridicule.
And don't you think part of the reason is because we don't have teachers as inspirational figures? Maybe Abdul Kalam, there is no other teacher that we can look up to being great.
Yeah. And in fact, not one or two, we have to have many such teachers who can inspire, right? And see, again, I see the role of the Delhi education revolution in this one. So it is changing the frame. So 5 years back, the teachers who were joining this sector, they cannot imagine that even the teachers might get the opportunity to travel abroad, right? But now, when the new teachers will be joining this occupation, they will have this in their mind that even the teacher have this kind of opportunities.
Yeah. So let's take it forward from here only. Does every teacher really work very hard in a particular school or a particular organization, or is it okay to be normal?
It's a very relative term. I remember a talk with Professor Farida Khan on the sideline of a conference. See, if you find few teachers not motivated to work in isolation, that's a teacher-specific problem. But if you find a large number of teachers who are not motivated to work, it's a systematic problem.
Exactly.
So what I see, unfortunately, in most part of the country, that in the school setups, you are not held accountable for your teaching works. You are held accountable for not performing your administrative work.
In teaching, in school teaching.
In school teaching.
Okay.
So somewhere that orientation has changed, that the teachers need to perform a lot of administrative work. So this somewhere demotivated the teachers who are very much interested in the classroom teaching and all. But now the things are changing. The government is, at least in the context of Delhi, I can say that trying to bring that change. Recently, they did not allow the Delhi school teachers to be taken for this kind of census.
That is one thing that is really a painful activity.
Some sort of census was supposed to be held.
I know.
Government did not allow it, that we cannot give our teachers. They are trying even to reduce the administrative works. They are trying to digitalize it more. They have brought some, like the estate managers in this school. They have brought a kind of administrative staffs in this school, so that this work could be reduced. I am not saying that it got reduced completely, but the whole effort is there to just leave teachers in this school for the academic work.
Okay.
So they are putting that effort in that direction.
Which is good, which is appreciative.
Yeah.
So, is there any one specific thing that you hate the most as a teacher? You want to change it as of now, right now?
It's difficult to identify.
Maybe an activity or the way it is perceived.
Because I see the things are, in a process. You cannot change something overnight. If something is there, because there is a certain context for it, why it is there, and the processes are very, very complex. So I won't pinpoint one particular things. Yes, what I imagine most often that the students in our schools should actually feel very empowered. I imagine for a day when they are at par with the teachers, which I could see in the American schools. It's my personal, many teachers don't agree with this. It's my personal opinion that my students, in fact students in the private schools and also in the government schools, let me repeat this line, students in the government school and also in the private schools, in my opinion, are exploited.
Okay.
It's not because of the teacher, because we have this kind of setup where every people who are a rank high in the hierarchy exploit the one who is below the hierarchy. So the things are seen in the hierarchical relationships. So I imagine for a day in the schools where the teacher and the students would be treated equally.
Okay, so tell me about your teaching subject. Why should someone take social studies maybe as a career in history or geography, something? Is it that exciting?
Yeah, I mean, you are asking this question at a time when I'm just writing a chapter on this for my book.
Okay.
Definitely, I'll say yes. Why? Because I think it's only the social science teachers who are actually making the global citizens. Their content is not to teach about one particular things. They are making the global citizen. They are helping students to break many stereotypes. They are the storytellers of the growth of the civilization. So very fascinating to be the social science.
So, is there any basic skill or a kind of thought process that one student should have to study social studies? Like for engineering, it has to be analytical.
Right.
For social studies, what kind of a thing?
Again, analytical is required here also. Yeah, I can say that the ability to see the things in a particular perspective, in a
larger picture.
In a larger picture, the ability to see the linkages. So as a social science teacher, as a history teacher, I always tell my student that we study a particular incident of the past which happened 5,000 years ago because it has a relation with our today's in India.
And you can learn from it.
Exactly, things are related. It's not we are studying just for the sake of studying because it's a part of the syllabus. We are studying because it has shaped our life. I often give them the example. Like suppose if a student is not speaking English and categorized are not very good students in society. It has a relation to the past because the British ruled over us. This is why you are categorized as not good. If this could not have happened in past, you could not have been categorized as you are not good if you are not good in
in English.
Right. If the French could have ruled, the standard could have been different. That if you don't speak French, it means you are not good.
Yes, yes.
So whatever happened, in the past, that has a relation. It has shaped who we are today. Is actually influenced by the kind of incidences that happened in the past.
So that makes social studies relevant.
Right. You have to see that linkages. It's not just about the history. It crosses the boundary. It's a very interdisciplinary subject.
Okay. So if as you are a teacher of social science, you must be checking the papers and all. So is there a common mistake that every student does and needs to be avoided completely while writing answers?
See, it's very unfortunate, I'll say, that in most of these schools, including government and private, the social science have been just reduced to a subject where just one have to memorize and write. So in this term, any of the advice doesn't come very handy. So they have memorized and they have written. But I want to see the students where they make the answer, where they create the answer.
Exactly.
Right.
So how should teachers teach social studies? Like something different, or it's again what you read in the book and just vomit it out?
Not at all. The read in the book is just one of the guidelines, that these are the contents which give you a kind of setup that what you are going to talk about. But it's basically you are talking about certain issues. So when I am talking about the Nazi Germany, the intention is not to tell the story about the Hitler. The intention is to enable the student to identify those elements, that how some society emerges into that situation, how one group of people become dangerous for the other group of people, so that they can identify those elements, so that they can discourage such elements
In today's time.
Okay.
So should teachers be very updated in social studies to learn about things, or is it only about the past and books?
No, as I told earlier, it's not about past at all. It's always in relation. And absolutely, for the social science, the day-to-day phenomena is the content. If a teacher is not aware about this, the classroom cannot be very interesting. Right? So the classroom can only be interesting when you enter into the classroom with today's incident, with something which is in the news. Bring that into the class.
You catch hold of their attention as well.
Yeah, and then connect it to the incidences of the past or the content which you have.
Okay. So there's a growing culture that I have observed. The teachers tend to give notes to their students for almost every subject now. Do you encourage doing that, or you would like students to come up with notes or something like that?
These are kind of shortcuts for helping students pass the exam, which is also good work, I would say. But I feel that the teachers should encourage students to consult different articles available on that particular topic, so that it can give them the different perspective about a particular issue. Note giving is a kind of technical things which helps them pass the exam. Yes, as a teacher, it's a good work to help the student pass the exam as long as the exams are there.
Recently, I got to know about the happiness curriculum that has been introduced in Delhi government. Would you like to share some light about that? क्या है वो? What we can expect out of it? क्या हो रहा है उस area में?
Yes, see, it has to be understood in a context. Particularly in India, we see that the education has become highly mechanical. the kind of students we are producing out of our education system, generally they just follow. They cannot think. Right? There are several reports in the media which claims that we have a good number of graduate degree holder and the masters, but they are not employable because they cannot think, right, in terms of the solution and all. So in that larger context, I see this introduction of the happiness curriculum is the preparation of the children for a life where they can think, right? Where they can think for the solution, where they can feel for the others.
So इसमें होगा क्या, मतलब स्टूडेंट्स आएंगे एंड देयर विल बी नो स्टडीज, मतलब पूरे दिन दे विल बी हैविंग फन अराउंड, क्या है? लोगों को ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि एक मिसकंसेप्शन हो कि पढ़ाई नहीं होने वाली.
It's not about that. So basically, every day students will get exposed to the happiness curriculum for 45 minutes. We are expecting that a student who are experiencing this exercise in the school every day for 8 years, class 1 to class 8, this exercise would help them emerge as a thinking being. So the kind of exercise we are doing, so suppose the mindfulness, where they can observe their own thinking, that what comes in them, why, analyze. So this is one of the activity. We share them the story with certain ethics, what we want to convey through that story, and we encourage them to question about that story, that how the things would change if the particular character in the story would behave differently. And we are ensuring that yes, it's not like a content delivery mechanism, because there are 20 stories or need to be taught. No, just teach one story, but let the essence of that story reach to every student, so that when they understood, they can bring the example from their own day-to-day life.
So basically happiness is a subject now. Out of the 8 subjects, 8 period that you have, happiness is a period now.
Yeah, but the difference is that there will be no exam.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So happiness is about preparing the children for a more challenging life where they can think and make the independent learner and decision makers.
So this brings me to another crucial thing. Are there specialized teachers that has been introduced, or again the normal teachers are being asked to do the happiness curriculum
Normal
as well?
Teachers,
is there a formal training that is being given to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And, I would like to mention about that all the teachers who have attended this training, none other than the education minister himself has given the training.
Okay. So he's quite engaged in this
Very
thing.
much engaged. He himself has given training to all, say, more than 20,000 teachers across the country.
Okay.
Yeah. So
really?
that shows the kind of passion he has for bringing the change.
रियली गुड. काफ़ी अच्छा हो रहा है दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में, और वैसे भी आपने बहुत सारी चीज़ें शेयर करी. सो लेट्स एंड इट ओवर है. थैंक्स अ लॉट. थैंक यू फॉर हेल्पिंग अस गाइड इनटू क्या हो रहा है सिस्टम में. Thanks for watching the full interview. I hope you liked it. Please share it as much as you can. If you're a teacher, a principal, or a head of institution and want us to interview you, or you have some suggestions for us, please write an email to us at Exedify.